So here's a little bit about me. So I am a bachelor's student, and like this talk is going to be a bit like software oriented because my background is in computer science, and I worked as a GSOC student last year, and I got a grant to work on scikit-image dispatching, and I worked on like NetworkX dispatching. We will talk about all of that later. And I maintain NetworkX, and these are some of the communities I'm involved with. And so in the title, like there might be some things that words that I think we should clarify. So when I say graphs, I mean these kind of graphs with like nodes and edges. And you can store any kind of data in these nodes, and edges just represent a relationship between them, and these edges can be directed or and arrays are basically like chunks of memory which are storing some kind of data. And dispatching, like in a general sense, you might know that it means like your one thing is going from one place to another, and how it knows it has to go to that place by some address information. So in programming also, dispatching is kind of similar thing, but we are deciding like at runtime which implementation to run. So like this library A gets a function call from the user, and then based on some information about the arguments that are passed in some global configurations, we decide that instead of running library A's implementation, we are going to run some other libraries implementation. And from now on, I will call these as backend libraries because like user is not directly interacting with that, but like why would we do this? So maybe we want to like find the fastest implementation at runtime and run that, or maybe for type compatibility or for different kind of workflows. So now how do we do it? So here's a very simple example that let's say we have this library and there's this add function. So here I have like hard coded it. So I have taken this library P as the argument, and I'm saying that for if it's library P1, first you import it and then you modify the types of the argument so that it's suitable for library P1, and then I find the add function in library P1 and then I call it, and I do same thing for all these backend libraries, but it's not very nice because my actual code is just like one line, and so like it's very dirty. But I can see that there are some steps in all of these if-else conditions that maybe I can generalize. So first I get the library, then I import it, and then I convert the arguments, and then I find the add function and call it. So, and like maybe we can like give some of this, maybe we can give some of the responsibility of these things to like the backend library also. So here instead of library A finding the backend implementation, I've used this all functions a method that I expect the backend library to give, and so it's like easier for me to now get the add function. And similarly for convert, I'm putting this responsibility on the backend library to give me this convert arg function. And instead of importing it, I am going to use this dunder import, and a consequence of that is that now I have just lib instead of like library B1, and the code in all of these if-else block is generalized, and so now I can make it compact, and maybe I can like make it even more nicer by using a decorator. So I've just put this logic into a decorator, and now I can put this decorator on like all the functions inside library A. So now let's see like how it is implemented in some of the projects. So we are going to talk about NetworkX, and then in arrays we are going to talk about like NumPy dispatching and array API standards, and then a little bit about scikit-image. So NetworkX is network or graph analysis library. Let me just switch to the demo. Okay, so here I've just installed a few backends, and this is how NetworkX's API is. Like, you create a graph object and then you populate it with some nodes and some edges, and you can just draw it like this with nx.draw, and this is our graph. And betweenness centrality basically tells you how important a node is. And here I've taken a big graph with like 1,000 nodes, and betweenness centrality takes like 84 seconds here. And if I run with like backend is equal to cugraph here, so it should take like a few seconds only. So now it's saying it's converting the graph from NetworkX graph to a cugraph, and then it is caching that converted graph, and it takes like 7 seconds, which is quite an improvement. And the next time I have given it a backend priority. So first it will try the graph plus backend, and because graph plus backend like does not implement the betweenness centrality function, it will like try the cugraph backend, which is the next backend. And now we are getting a warning that we are using a cached graph, so be careful. And it's now because we have used a cached graph, instead of 7 seconds, we got the answer even quicker. And here I have directly like converted this big graph object into a NX graph, and it should take even less time because now it does not have to do the conversion steps, so like 1 second less. So yeah, so these are like 4 ways for NetworkX to like 4 ways for a NetworkX user to use dispatching. And here I just want to make this distinction that there is type-based dispatching and a name-based dispatching. Like we will talk about it later. Like type-based is like based on the type of the argument that is passed in, and name-based is like I'm giving you the backend name. And we do this, and internally we use like something called as Python entry points. So entry points are basically used to like extend the functionality of the library. So if the vacuum cleaner's functionality is to clean, and you can specialize that by using like different nozzles. And so dispatching is basically, instead of extending, we are saying that you can implement a whole another alternative implementation, and we will use that. So here is like how entry point is defined in a backend, and this is in a Py project or terminal, but you can define it in whatever, however you are storing your metadata. So it has like these 3 things, and group is basically used to like group all the installed backends with this group name, and name is the backend name, and object references like all the functions supported by that backend plus the convert function to like convert from NetworkX graph to an NX parallel graph, and NX parallel graph to a NetworkX graph. And on NetworkX's side, it's just this one function call that gives you all the installed backends, like a mapping of the backend name and the backend namespace. And here are some more things that you can look. And this is kind of a summary that user either gives the backend a specific graph in the function call or directly gives the backend name, and from backend name we use entry points to get the mapping between the backend name and the backend namespace. And once we get that namespace, we can just run the backend implementation and get the output. And in NumPy, like I am not an expert in arrays or array dispatching. I just worked on scikit-image, and images are like NumPy arrays. So yeah, I'm just giving a brief introduction. So in NumPy, there is this array function dunder, which like if you pass a COPY array into a NumPy function, it will take that COPY array object and try to run this array function dunder. And if COPY implements it, this function, then it will just give the output by running the COPY implementation. So here are a few checks that if this function is supported or not, and then some type checks, and at the end it just returns the COPY implementation. And some drawbacks are like there are no fallbacks. Like if COPY does not implement this function, then it will just give this not implemented error, and like in NetworkX, it will fall back to the native implementation. And also, like if a function returns a COPY array, but it's a NumPy function, then it's not a nice API. And also, some array libraries might have some additional functionality that might not like fit into the NumPy's API. So array API standards was introduced. So like these are array like these are the array producer libraries. Like they have like the main array object, and these are the array consumer libraries. So they use these, and the goal is like to not have these barriers, and just like any library could use any array type. So it's basically like some guidelines and standards that a new array library or the existing ones also should adopt, like have this kind of a function signature and these kind of function names and arguments. And they also recommend that you have this array namespace so that the array consuming libraries could easily get all your supported functions. But it's like just guidelines, and it's like still getting adopted by a lot of projects. And so here's how array consuming library might adopt it. So it's just a simple covariance function. So you just have to take this array object and run this array namespace function, and you can get the whole namespace. And then like instead of np, you just put xp everywhere. But like you would have to like check that if the function that if the arrays that you are claiming that can go into this function can actually supports this main function. And also there is a compatibility layer, like if some array library has like a different name of a function, and it's not that easy to change it that quickly. So there's like array API compat. And in scikit-image, like the main challenge is like it's hard to adopt array API standards because there are Python extensions. So like every time in a function, there will be a compiled code function, then we would have to convert it back to a NumPy array. And it's a bit complex to convert arrays as compared to graphs. So it's hard that way. So the scikit-image community was leaning more towards an entry point based dispatching. So it's there's a very basic dispatching mechanism currently. in scikit-image and it's experimental. So, but it's like not very nice because it still requires either the backend library or the user to take care of the array conversions. So we are working on something called Spatch, which is like it is entry point based, but it has a strong type based component. Yeah, and here are a few resources that you can go and read about.